What's up YouTube? I am so excited and I am back with another C70 video because today we actually make it full frame. Let's get to it. So happy holidays, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I just want to wish you and your family a Happy New Year. Alright, so this is just my first impressions video. I just got this a couple of days ago. I pre-ordered it a couple of months ago when I ordered the C70 and it just came in. I've had the C70 for a few weeks now and I've been super excited about this thing simply because it takes a Super 35 and gives you the full frame field of view. That's exactly what I've wanted, and for me is because coming from the 5D series, I've been shooting on those for a really long time, and coming from those, I just love the full frame aesthetic. Now, I'm not one that only has to shoot full frame, but the thing is, once you build a lens collection around full frame, it's hard to go to Super 35 because at that point in time, everything is much tighter and the lenses just don't work the same way depending on what you need and what you're doing. So I really wanted this because I still have an EOS R and full frame is still something that I value. Now, again, I like Super 35 and I could shoot Super 35. I think the biggest problem I have shooting Super 35 is I really don't like a lot of the lens choices from Canon. So say for instance, if I have the 24-70, that I want to put on here, that really becomes like a 36 to 110, 115-ish lens. And while it's great on the long end, it's not so great on the wide end, because sometimes if I'm shooting weddings or if I'm shooting establishing shots, 35 to 38 millimeters just isn't wide enough. So having that full frame aesthetic and full frame field of view is very important to me. And then also, like any speed boosters, it actually lets in another stop of light. So this 2.8 lens here becomes an f2. So that's really helpful because you can keep your ISO low, keep everything super clean and everything looking really good. So those are like the main features of this. So what I did was I took it out and with my girlfriend and we just did some comparison shots. I am working on a longer video. It's gonna take me a little while to put that together because it's a comparison video showing the different fields of view with the mount adapter here and then just the regular adapter, the regular EF to RF adapter. So it's going to take a second to put that together. I just wanted to put this one out to show the differences between having it on there, not having it on there, how tight it is or how wide it is once you put this on there. One thing is that it does have a little bit of weight to it, so it's going to add more weight than if you just use the normal EF to RF adapter. It has an element inside of it, so you're definitely going to feel more added weight. It's not a ton, but you'll feel it just a little bit. Next thing is it also comes with brackets on each side for screws to make it a more secure fit. I actually use those and put them on, but I think I'm going to not have those until I'm for sure I'm going to keep this on the lens at all times. The reason I say that is because it's 4 screws and it takes time to put those on and take those off. I feel confident that this doesn't have a lot of play in it and it feels super comfortable, and I don't have a bracket on any of my other EF to RF adapters that I use, so I think I'm going to use it without the screws just so if I need to take it off, I can do it very quickly without having to take the 4 screws off. But it's really simple to actually do that. So, and then another thing I have the biggest gripe with about this so far is just the name. It's really hard to find if you type in focal reducer or if you type in speed booster. Nothing really comes up. So it's officially called the Canon Mount Adapter EF to EOS R 0.71X. That's what it's called. Canon, you could have done better. I'm gonna just be real with you. You could have done better. You could have come out with something a little easier, you know, call it the Canon RF Speed Booster or something like that to make it, you know, more searchable and easier for people to find. Hell, I don't even know what to name this video because it's such a long title, but I'll address that once I'm done. So anyways, I took this out. Me and my girlfriend, we just did some random shots and I did try to do some close-ups. I tried to do some handheld. I did moving shots because what I wanted to see was I wanted to see how this handle autofocus. You know, the C70's autofocus is pretty good. I may make a video with that. There's a couple issues that I've seen with it, but I don't want to overreact. It's still a great camera, still has great autofocus. I've just run into a couple of issues, so I will address that. If you want to ask questions about that in the comments, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. But what I wanted to see was, how did it handle autofocus, you know, if I'm shooting at f1.4? Because typically if you're shooting wide open, it's a little harder for the autofocus to keep up because it's got to move a lot of glass around, especially if you're shooting at more of the telephoto focal length. So I wanted to see that. I wanted to put some wide lenses on there. I wanted to put some tight lenses on there. I wanted to have my subject come to and from close to the camera to further away to see how it handled it. And from everything that I've seen, it handles it really, really well. I can't tell any difference in autofocus performance between using this and using no adapter at all, or you know, having to actually use the EF to RF adapter. I have the one with the control ring, but I also have just the basic one as well. So I have 3 adapters now that I can use, and I didn't see any difference. I really truly didn't. I did gimbal work. I did some, you know, moving pushes, some trucking shots. You know, I tried to have her turn away, you know, and the autofocus kept up really, really well. And then also looking at the footage, I really can't tell any sharpness difference. It looks really sharp. It's not by putting this on I noticed that it's softer or anything like that. I still think that it looks absolutely amazing. And so what it basically does is it just gives you that full frame aesthetic, and it allows you to have more light, and it allows you to shoot with your zoom lenses at the focal lengths that they are supposed to be. One of the things that it does do that is weird to me is it somewhat gives you a EF-EOS equivalent focal length. So this 35mm that I put on here reads as a 25mm, which is weird to me because if this is a Super 35 sensor and you put a focal reducer or a speed booster on it to make your field of view wider and make it full frame, then a 35mm should be a 35 or very close equivalent to that, right? But it reads as a 25mm, so that confuses me a little bit. And then my 24-70 reads as like a 17-50. When I go super wide on this, it goes 17. When I zoom into 70, it says 50. So again, if this is a full frame lens and the adapter is making it full frame, wouldn't it just be 24-70 or something really close to it? Because it doesn't make it quite full frame, but it's very, very close. So that's one thing that threw me off. But other than that, you know, I'm not for sure if that's something, you know, I would just have to ask Canon why they did that, just to understand what, you know, the focal lengths that they're giving us on the screen, how they're actually interpreting that. So another thing that it does is it does reduce your autofocus area from 80% to 60%. Now, with most Canon cameras, 80% of your field of view is covered by your dual pixel autofocus. Well, when you put this on there, it only covers 60% of the frame with some lenses. And it shows you on the screen where that area is. So once you go outside that area, it falls off. Also, I did some tests with that so you can actually see where she falls off and where she's back in. So she'll jump out of frame, and that's where the autofocus is off, and jump back into where it actually is. And to be honest with you, for my use, that's gonna be just fine. It still covers a majority of the area that I would have my subject in. And if it was an area where they were just slightly outside of that, I would just switch to manual focus. So for me, it's not that big a deal. It's still most of the area in the middle of the frame where you're gonna keep most of your subjects anyhow. So I just don't see an issue with that. So I really just love the aesthetic that it provides. Just that full frame aesthetic, full frame field of view, and an extra stop of light is just amazing. And right now, it really kind of puts me in a place where I'm unsure of where I'm going to move next, because I have the C300 Mark III, which I'm actually filming with right now, which is Super 35, and it's an amazing camera, but it's Super 35. Then I have the C70 here, which is Super 35 as well, and they match perfectly, same sensor and everything, but now I have the ability to go full frame with this. And then I have the EOS R, which is a full frame camera. And so I'm stuck between having full frame and Super 35 and Super 35 with the ability to go full frame. So it's kind of the best of all worlds, but at the same time, it really puts me in a place. I don't know if I want to go to RF lenses or, you know, keep the full frame adapter. I'm just not sure right now what I want to do. So I'm just gonna use all of these together and see how I feel after a couple of months of using them. Then I can make the decision if I want to move to RF lenses or if I just want to stay with EF and use the adapter. Because you have to remember, you cannot use this adapter if you want to use RF lenses, because RF lenses will connect right to the camera. So it's really something that you have to decide what you want to do. I mean, and if you want to have the option to have it, it's just really weird because having two sets of lenses, A, can get expensive, and B, who really wants to have two different sets of lenses? As of now, I think I'll stick with EF just for the time being, but that may change in the future. So we'll see. I want to get some RF lenses and actually test them out and see how they hold up as well. So that's it for this video. I just really wanted to give my first impressions and get some footage out there on what it looks like and some comparisons between having it and not having it on the camera. And I've gotten a lot of questions about it, and I know some people are wanting to buy it, so I just really wanted to give the information so people can kind of make the decision on that. I'll have a longer video that comes out either later this week or early next week that gives more full thoughts and more footage and test shots that we did. So other than that, if you like this, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, please. And if you don't mind subscribing, I'll try to put out videos, you know, weekly with more relevant content that you guys want to see. So other than that, again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Tell the people close to you that you love them, spend some time with them, and till the next time, peace.